easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly. And Ascension St. Thomas, the official hospital partner for MTSU Athletics. Now, with Coach Derek Mason, here's the voice of the Blue Raiders, Chip Walters.
Welcome in, everybody, and into the Boulevard here on this special Sunday night edition of Derek Mason Live as we are on this Labor Day weekend getting ready, and it's nice to come in here on a Sunday night with the Blue Raiders 1-0, getting a home victory in the season opener, and I saw it on social media somewhere, Coach. Took 2 months to play. Started in August, ended in September, but hey, no matter what, you get out of there with a win on that opening game and puts a smile on everybody's face.
It does. I want to say first and foremost, to Blue Raider Nation, thank you for showing up. And believe me, the circumstances were not ideal, but when we got to Raider Walk, it looked different. Raider Walk looked different. It did. And that's kudos to our community. That's kudos to our Blue Raider faithful. It's kudos to our administration for allowing the atmosphere to look different. It felt different. It looked different. Unfortunately, we had the rain, but for those who went into the gym, some of those folks stayed in Murphy Center for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and still waited, to see their Blue Raiders play. And that's so cool to me. I mean, it was a different feeling. Our kids were talking about it. Mm-hmm. A couple of my coaches told me in pregame when they went out the first time and they looked and they saw everybody out there, they couldn't believe. A guy like Terry Wilkins, who's been here a long time, Terry said, "Coach, I've never seen this many folks here. It's been a while since I've seen this." And again, it was just fun. It was a great atmosphere, and for us, to us, by us, man, it was a fun time.
It was, and from my perch high atop Floyd Stadium, we were able to see that parade of folks coming toward the stadium. And, of course, Murphy's Law is Murphy's Law. and you had about that time is when the first weather delay came.
Right.
And then they brought you back out for 2 or 3 minutes, and then the second weather delay, and that one is the one that lasted for the longest amount of time, and people went into Murphy Center. And while we're handing out kudos and stuff like that, it's my understanding that kind of in an organic way, I'm going to give head band coach Craig Cornish of the Band of Blue and the dance team and the cheerleaders, they kept the folks entertained in Murphy Center.
You know what? It was a different type of concert, right? It was an interactive concert. I'm sitting in the Murphy Center, and I just looked around the corner, and I saw our band, our cheer squad, our cheer and dance squad, and then I saw like folks, right? I don't know if they were line dancing or cheering, but it sort of looked like a Broadway festival, right? A lot of stuff was going on as we were waiting for the game to start, but again, man, it was unbelievable. And thanks to Chris Massaro, who's here with his wife, Cindy, that thing was crazy. I mean, Chris made the suggestion on the fly, hey, look, let's take them into the Murphy Center. And you know what? That thing was great, right? Because nobody wants to stand outside. So they stayed in the Murphy Center, and they really had a chance to enjoy themselves until they can get back out.
Yep. That was they got back out and saw absolutely an entertaining football game that had twists and turns, and you have things you go through during a game, good and bad, and in the end, the good things happen when you needed them to happen, and you walk away with a victory.
Yeah. That game had a bunch of twists, right? And we know and understand we got out fast, and that's what we wanted to do. And they get a safety in the second quarter, and that changes momentum a little bit. We turn around, we miss a pick six.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wide open.
We miss a pick six opportunity, and we give up 3 points before half, and you go in, and it just feels like a regular game. But football is a game of momentum. We didn't necessarily do the things that we were supposed to do coming out of halftime and what we what we saw come up was, our football team just needed to play better.
Yeah, and you talk about how, and this is to give Tech credit because they played extremely hard, but you talk about that series of events that happened just before halftime,
Yeah.
and you talk a lot about the middle eight.
The middle eight.
The last four of the first half, first four of the second half, but it all started on a special teams play.
It did.
Their punt that they really covered well
Right.
at the 1 yard line, that started that whole series of events. And the thing is that, if you put a lot of emphasis on that middle eight, and if you don't win the middle eight, sometimes it's hard to win the football game. But you guys were able to do that when Tech had kind of done some good things right there at the end of the first and beginning of the second half.
Well, you talk about the middle eight, and this is how crucial the middle eight is, right? Okay, you look at the safety, and then you turn around and look, and we had a chance to create a turnover, and we don't. And usually when you don't take advantage of a turnover, okay, something not good happens, right? And so the field goal, we held them to a field goal. That was good. We start the half coming out, making sure that we got to stop, and that was good. We went 3-0 coming out at halftime. So we sort of negated the middle eight a little bit. We lost it before half, sort of regained it coming out, but then in the third quarter, just couldn't find any type of rhythm offensively or defensively.
Yeah, and that's true, and it's and sometimes rhythm is a big deal. And,
it is,
and I think Nick would be the first guy to tell you that they started out great. He was bullets. In the first half, and in the second half, something might have been 6 inches out of the window or something like that, and at the same time, could have been the best thing that happened to them. You never want to see anybody get hurt, but they bring in their backup quarterback, who we expected to see.
Right.
But he started dinking and dunking, and
did.
And did a terrific job of that. And he was, he just kind of hung in there and was a little gunslinger.
He managed the game well.
Yeah.
You got to give Tennessee Tech credit. I mean, I've watched a lot of games this weekend, right? You watch Idaho and Oregon, and you see how that game goes, just in terms of Oregon supposed to go out there and just dismantle. But what you find is that the game is still won and lost between the white lines, right? You got to play a 4-quarter, 60-minute ball game. And when you do, you have a chance for success. When you don't, you open the door. And we opened the door last night. And I couldn't have been prouder of our guys, right? Because it's 1 minute left on the clock. Mm-hmm. And I know everybody in the stands is sort of panicked a little bit. But, Chip, you've been out to practice. We worked 2-minute scenarios. I mean, that's almost become such a high priority in college football in practice. And so to see our guys operate with 1 minute left on the clock, and we just needed a field goal, but instead we're able to, on a fourth down, Vadiato throws as good a ball as I've seen right down the middle of the field. It's caught by, Amari. We push it forward, and they open it up. We say, listen, they're probably going to bring pressure off the edge, right? So we just spread them out. We give it to Frank. Frank makes a guy miss. Amari blocks off the edge. Frank goes into the end zone, and instead of lining up to kick a field goal, we're in the end zone.
Yeah.
And that looks so different probably for our fans. Our fans probably went from, oh, to woo, to, okay, can we finish this thing?
I know it was that way in the radio booth. I'll just say that, too.
Okay,
so.
yeah. It felt that way.
It certainly did. We'll kind of go into the game and how it went down, and got some highlights for you to come up in our next segment. But want to remind you, we are at the Boulevard across from campus here at the corner of Middle Tennessee and East Main in Murfreesboro, our favorite sports bar and grill in Murfreesboro. Stop by today. Stay tuned for more Derek Mason Live after this from Van Wagner. This is the Blue Raider Network.
When it comes to money, I'm a saver.
Me too. Though I can also be a bit of a spender.
Well, Ascend has got you both covered. With our interest-earning checking, you can
Earn interest so I can save money for my beach trip?
Sure. And with our rewards checking, you can
Get cash back for my purchases? Tap reward?
Yep. So no matter how you handle your money, Ascend Federal Credit Union has the right checking account for you. Interest-earning checking earns 3.56% annual percentage yield up to $15,000. Some restrictions apply.
Not feeling well and need to see a doctor? Find the care you need now at Ascension St. Thomas. We're here with 24/7 ER care, same-day care, and walk-in urgent care for broken bones, sprains, allergies, sore throats, and more. Visit ascension.org/St. Thomas Care to get the right care at the right place at the right time. Serving Middle Tennessee State University, Murfreesboro, and surrounding communities.
How do you create a tradition of leadership? You power it with impressive towing and hauling, sharpen it with smart features like a mobile generator, and dominate the game 47 years straight. That's Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks, a legacy of excellence, only at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Available features. See Owner's Manual for important operating instructions, based on 1977 to 2023 total sales.
Roscoe Brown is proud to be a longtime supporter of MTSU Athletics and your locally owned HVAC and plumbing company for over 80 years. Roscoe Brown has been the trusted name for heating, cooling, and plumbing for Middle Tennessee homeowners and businesses. Call 888-MY-ROSCOE to schedule your HVAC or plumbing service today. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Roscoe Brown. People you know, a name you trust. Go Blue Raiders.
Roscoe Brown. RoscoeBrown.com.
Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance takes great pride in supporting and treating Middle Tennessee State University athletes. Providing expert treatment of injuries to bones, joints, or muscles, TOA's team of orthopedic specialists can get you back in the game. Same-day appointments and walk-ins are welcome. Injured? Visit one of our many ortho urgent cares, or to make an appointment, call 1-855-NEED-TOA or visit www.toa.com. TOA, the official team doctor for Blue Raider Athletics.
The MTSU Alumni Association is proud of its more than 130,000 living alumni who are leading, teaching, entertaining, researching, flying, farming, nursing, and more worldwide. Every Blue Raider accomplishment adds value to your degree. Are you connected to the MTSU National Alumni Association? Visit mtalumni.com to share what you're doing. Update your information and see how you can be involved and informed. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Welcome back into the Boulevard tonight, and our show brought to you in part by the Raiders Rising Collective, the official NIL collective for MTSU Athletics. Raiders Rising provides student athletes from all 17 varsity teams at MTSU opportunities to earn income based on their name, image, and likeness. Follow at Raiders Rising on X and RaidersRising.com for more information on upcoming events, how to donate, become a member, and more. Coach Derek Mason is here with us, and we're going to break down part of our game tonight. But first, let's have a little Raider rewind and listen to some of the highlights from last night's win over Tennessee Tech.
Toe meets leather, and a new era of Blue Raider football is underway. He will drive into the end zone. Touchdown, Middle Tennessee. At the 7-yard line. 3rd and 4. Back to throw. Battiato looks, throws, caught. Touchdown, Butler. Miles Butler. His first touchdown catch as a Blue Raider. And Battiato threw a missile in there. First down. Handoff to the left side. It's Cradle to the 5. He's in a race to the end zone, and he's in. Touchdown, Middle Tennessee. Willis in motion. Draw play. Big one. To the outside. Into the 20. To the 10. To the 5. Down to the goal line. Did he get in? Yes! Touchdown! Frank Pisa goes 30 yards for the touchdown with 16 seconds left. Oh, my! Who says nothing good happens after mid?
5, 4, 3, 2. We're up.
The great end of that. Nothing. Who says nothing good happens after midnight? Well, it certainly did last night. It happened good after midnight, and Frank Peasant, a couple of touchdowns. We'll talk to him a little bit later tonight. Omari Kelly, but Let's talk about how you guys came out of the gate, in particular offensively. I thought in both sides of the ball, in the opening 3 or 4 possessions, really were very crisp.
Well, we worked on opening scripts offensively, defensively. We didn't know what they were going to do, but we felt like we had a good plan going into that game. And it's always about execution. It's about the Jimmies and Joes. It's not about the X's and O's. Our guys got to line up and play. And everything you do every day is about taking it from the classroom to the grass. And I thought guys did a good job this week of doing that. So those things that we saw early in the game, they were able to adapt and adjust to. It led to scores. It led to stops. And it gave us some momentum early enough in that ball game where we felt like, okay, we've got a great opportunity here to start pushing the envelope a little bit.
Yeah, 2 of your first 3 drives were double-digit plays. The first drive, 15 plays, 72 yards, nearly 8 minutes off the clock. And your third drive, 11 plays, 59 yards, and nearly 5 minutes off the clock. That's how you want to play.
Well, when you look at this ball game in general, we won the time of possession, but it was in those first drives where we really established who we were.
Exactly.
Right? And I think if you can do that, if you can continuously do that, what that gives you an opportunity to do is sort of stick to your game plan, figure out, exactly who to go to, what works, and I thought we had that thing clicking early.
Yeah, in Bodie Reeder, your offensive coordinator and play caller, mixed things up a lot in the first 15, 20 plays.
Right.
Showed them a lot of things to see how they would react, I guess, and as well how you guys were going to execute. And at that point, what do? Do you kind of look at that and say, okay, they didn't react to this real well, then we're going to come back with it?
Absolutely. You're looking at how guys handle motions, how guys handle formations. If they actually covered a guy, like maybe we missed the read and maybe they didn't cover a guy. Was there a good run check that maybe we missed? And so all these things are things that you have guys on the staff taking note of as you go through that first 20 or 25 plays of your script.
Yep. The other thing that happened in those first 2 or 3 possessions, you got John House, the fourth, got a turnover that set you up on a short field at the plus 30. You're able to take advantage of that with an easy touchdown, and it was like boom, 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 you're up 21-0.
Well, that's another one of those statistical deals that
the analytics part of things.
The analytics part of it tell you anytime that you can score on a turnover, your chances of winning ball games go up, right?
Yeah.
And so to be able to get a touchdown, not a field goal, but a touchdown out of that turnover was huge.
And I'm just talking in general here. Do you think sometimes teams, when they have a quick change like that, sometimes maybe settle for 3, thinking it's a gift, instead of going for the throat right there and trying to score a touchdown?
A lot of times people do, right? Because the analytics tell you, okay, go ahead and kick the field goal. But I think it all depends on the ebb and flow of the game. How do you feel about your personnel? Are you in sync? Do you feel like you have momentum? And you already have field position. So in that, let's try to go for the jugular a little bit, and let's especially early in the season. Let's see where we're at. Let's see what we can get done. And I thought, again, we executed on that drive the way we should have.
Yep, certainly got you off to a great start. Middle Tennessee led 21-0 before Tech scored 5 points late in the first half that Coach and I have talked about. We'll kind of take a look at that second half and how they went through it coming up in our next segment. Right now, we need to take a timeout as you listen for more Derek Mason Live after this from Van Wagner and the Blue Raider Network.
When the arena lights dim for a concert, or when the crowd becomes one at a big game, you can almost feel like you're the biggest fan. But who's your biggest fan? It's the person that will get you home safely after a night of drinking. It's the person who looks out for your life to make sure you leave the stadium with someone sober. This could be a designated driver, someone who offers to give you a ride share. Because in Tennessee, fans don't let fans drive drunk. Brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, a division of the Tennessee Department of Safety and Homeland Security.
Plan ahead and plan for success. Put Lee Company on your team for all your facility and home maintenance needs. They are proud to be an official partner of the MTSU Blue Raiders and have serviced homes and businesses for 80 years. For the very best heating, air conditioning, plumbing, and electrical services, call Lee Company at 615-867-1000. Visit them at leecompany.com or call 615-867-1000.
Some days you hit snooze, but not today. Today you have to go on a run. You get burgers for the tailgate. You've got to haul something heavy, a cooler stocked with Bud Light. You've got beer and football, nothing is hard. Until the other team scores. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus, copyright 2024, Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Pay the Order of Hope. Promise. Tomorrow. For years, the Tennessee Lottery has written some pretty big checks, but it turns out that our biggest winner continues to be education. In fact, we've raised more than $7.5 billion and provided more than 2 million scholarships and grants for Tennessee students. Learn more about how lottery dollars are making a difference at tnlottery.com. It's game-changing, life-changing fun.
When it comes to money, I'm a saver.
Me too. Though I can also be a bit of a spender.
Well, Ascend has got you both covered. With our interest-earning checking, you can
Earn interest so I can save money for my beach trip?
Sure. And with our rewards checking, you can
Get cash back for my purchases? Tap reward?
Yep. So no matter how you handle your money, Ascend Federal Credit Union has the right checking account for you. Interest-earning checking earns 3.56% annual percentage yield up to $15,000. Some restrictions apply.
Not feeling well and need to see a doctor? Find the care you need now at Ascension St. Thomas. We're here with 24/7 ER care, same-day care, and walk-in urgent care for broken bones, sprains, allergies, sore throats, and more. Visit ascension.org/St. Thomas Care to get the right care at the right place at the right time. Serving Middle Tennessee State University, Murfreesboro, and surrounding communities.
Three, two, one,
Welcome back into Derek Mason Live as we come to you from the Boulevard here in Murfreesboro. Blue Raider fans, get ahead of the game with the best home services team in town for your heating, air conditioning, plumbing, electrical, and home improvement needs. Lee Company is the team to call at 615-867-1000 or online at leecompany.com. Coach Derek Mason with us tonight. Middle Tennessee wins over Tennessee Tech on Saturday night. Sunday morning as by a final score of 32-25. And Coach came in here on two wheels tonight as you guys on the practice field on Sunday. That's part of your regular routine.
We came out of a practice. I came straight here and from practice. We were out in the rain, and we have a young guy scrimmage on Sundays, and that gives our young guys an opportunity to truly be invested. Our black ops or our non-travel squad gets a chance to scrimmage on Sundays for about 20 to 25 plays, and that keeps them really invested in what we do. I believe every player is valuable and valued. I think you have to develop your young guys as much as you're developing like the guys that are playing on Saturdays, Tuesdays, or Wednesdays, right? And I think that part of it has been really exciting for them because their teammates who just played are rooting them on, right? So they've got a different type of crowd out there at practice, rooting them on, offense versus defense. And it's uber competitive, and I think it allows us to get better during the season so that if anything may happen, some of those guys may have to play.
Yep, absolutely. Looking back to last night into the second half, leading 21-5, you get into the second half, and really the defenses kind of dominated the third quarter. It was, kind of nudging for field position, and then kind of all heck broke loose in the fourth quarter.
Right. For us, I felt like we were out of sorts offensively. I felt like defensively, We were grinding, but we had some self-inflicted penalties. And here's what people need to know about penalties. Offensively, penalties kill drives. Okay, like they do. They put you behind the chains. And when you get behind the chains, it's hard enough to go 3 downs and get 10 yards, let alone having to go 15 or 18 or 22. It makes it hard. And so with that, it got sloppy for us. And then defensively, we had some penalties and some miscues that kept drives alive, right? And so we just had a sloppy quarter, which led to us being on the field too long defensively. And anytime an offense can keep you on the field, bad things can only happen.
Yeah, and then Tech scored, made it 21-11. They missed on a 2-point play. Then came what I thought was a key segment of the game, late third, early fourth quarter. Middle has the ball. You've got the 3rd and 8 or so at your own 48. What appears to be a pick six is thrown, but there is a review, and there was a targeting call on the middle linebacker for Tech. It hit Nick right in the chin strap. And so not only did it it took the play off, or the pick six away, kept you with the ball, and you end up putting together a 12-play, 59-yard drive and got points out of it with Zeke Rankin.
Right. Zeke didn't have many opportunities last night. But when he did, he put it through the uprights. And, kudos to Zeke, because he's had a great camp, and we needed those points. It was an opportunity. Like last night was really weird because we found ourselves in precarious field position at times, right? The 40, the 38, just a little bit outside of range. And so
I call no man's land.
No man's land, right?
Yeah.
You call it no man's land, and we could have punted, but we chose to sort of go for it, right? I mean, we had some opportunities. I think we were 3 or 4 on 4th down conversions last night, which is pretty good. But the reality was, when we needed key points, we got key points, and that field goal was as big as any points that we scored last night, because it allowed us to sort of stay in range no matter what happened.
Yeah, 3rd down conversions. At one point, you were 8 of 10,
right?
And I think ended up 9 or 10 of 16.
Yeah.
And then in the second, and that was part of being able to control the football and eat up time, because that was the other number that just jumped out at halftime, was how lopsided time of possession was in the first half.
It was lopsided in the first half. And as you look at what happened in the third quarter, right, you look at a fair amount of offensive drops. Like there were some drops in there, right? I mean, some simple throw and catch opportunities that would have made some of those 3rd down situations a little better, right? And again, football is a game of ebb and flow. I thought we had great mojo early. We sort of lost some of it during that, and you're just always trying to get it back. But sometimes it's never as easy as you think to get it back. And so we had to fight through some adversity, and what you saw happen in the fourth quarter sort of led us to a precarious situation where we had to respond.
Yeah, they took advantage, I thought, a lot of times of your team's aggressive nature defensively.
They did.
Number one, they're sending receivers long. You're covering them, but you're bringing pressure, which opens up a void in the middle.
Right.
And they're dinking and dunking 5 to 7 yards and getting another 5 to 7 yards with it. As a defensive coordinator, that's got to be frustrating.
Well, I know Coach Stewart talked to those guys about just what they were doing, and we made adjustments, but different guys were playing. As you look at the rotation of defensive players last night, we played a lot of defensive players. We played probably, close to 26, 27, like defensive players. You really don't go that deep, but we went that deep last night, and sometimes it's like popcorn. You're talking to one guy, but there's another guy in, okay, and so he becomes the popcorn, and then it moves over here, so that's the kernel that's popping. So for us, it never just seemed succinct. We were getting hit in different ways, but our kids never lost hope. They didn't get mad at each other, and that's what I was expecting. I thought at some point in time we may implode because we're a bunch of new guys playing together for the first time. But they hung together.
last two possessions, and not counting the last 15 seconds, but on Tech's last possession of the game, they score a touchdown to get the lead.
Yes.
And then you come right back, and with 1 minute to go, you touched on it a little bit earlier, but what does it say about your offensive group and the savvy, I guess, that they have, and the mojo you mentioned earlier, to compartmentalize that, focus on what you've got to do, and know that you've got, again, it's what you practice every day in a situation like that.
For those who weren't there and didn't see what happened, we lost 2 offensive linemen, 2 starters in that game. So we were down 2 starting offensive linemen protecting our quarterback on 4th down and having to get a first down. Okay, not only do we get the first down, but then it leads us to, having to block a run play and then bringing exotic pressure, and we pick it up only to see Frank, just run out the front door, for a touchdown. Imagine this, on 4th down, having 2 of your starting linemen down and thinking that you can hold up in protection when they were barreling down our throats most of the 3rd and almost all of the 4th quarter. That's what we saw. So, again, that was something that was really special. If you were in the building and watching, seeing those guys respond up front was something that, to me, really stood out. Hats off to that makeshift offensive line. Hats off to Coach Simmons, and hats off to Nick, because he had to stand in there and let it go.
Yep, sure did. And then Middle gets the touchdown. It went for 2 because 1 really didn't make any sense.
Right.
Gave you a 7-point lead, and then Brian Stewart unleashed the Hounds on their last couple of plays and forced a big sack and put them in a position really where they couldn't win.
Now, let's talk about this for a second, Chip, because to me that was interesting, right? Those guys played with their hair on fire, and they pinned their ears back and came after, the quarterback. If we could have played with that earlier in the 4th quarter, it's a different ball game, right? So, to me, that just tells you how the ebb and flow of football games can go. Okay, those guys felt that it was the time. It starts with a Buck. Buck comes off the edge. He gets a sack. Then, you see Alex Williams.
Yeah.
You see Alex, come off the edge, and we sort of have to pull him off the quarterback. We almost had to pull him off the field because he was jabbing back and forth with the quarterback. And, again, that group looked like a different group just in 3 plays, right? So, again, it was a different type of ball game. It happened after midnight, so maybe midnight swung it back our way. Who knows?
And none of us turned into pumpkins, that's for sure.
That's right.
And the Raiders win it by a score of 32-25 over Tennessee Tech. We'll take a timeout. Special guest coming up, Frank the Tank and Omari Kelly. After this, you're listening to the Blue Raider Network from Learfield.
When the arena lights dim for a concert, or when the crowd becomes one at a big game, you can almost feel like you're the biggest fan. Who's your biggest fan? It's the person that will get you home safely after a night of drinking. It's the person who looks out for your life to make sure you leave the stadium with someone sober. This could be a designated driver or someone who offers to get you a ride share. Because in Tennessee, fans don't let fans drive drunk. Brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, a division of the Tennessee Department of Safety and Homeland Security.
Plan ahead and plan for success. Put Lee Company on your team for all your facility and home maintenance needs. They are proud to be an official partner of the MTSU Blue Raiders and have serviced homes and businesses for 80 years. For the very best heating, air conditioning, plumbing, and electrical services, call Lee Company at 615-867-1000. Visit them at leecompany.com or call 615-867-1000.
Some days you hit snooze, but not today. Today you have to go on a run. You get burgers for the tailgate. You've got to haul something heavy. A cooler.
Gosh, years.
You got beer and football? Nothing aside.
I've been part of the radio crew here for 34 years.
Bud Light.
Mr. Palmer right
Easy to
there.
drink,
He's been part of it for
easy to
44 years.
Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus.
He just turned
2024
86
Anheuser-Busch,
last
Light,
week,
St. Louis, Missouri.
and he still helps us
Pay
out
the
on the
order
radio
of
these
hope.
days. So,
Promise. Tomorrow. For here's the
when you
Tennessee
were at Auburn,
Lottery
did you
has
know
written some pretty big
JoJo
checks,
Petroni
but it turns out that our
and
biggest
Robbie
winner
in the training room?
continues to be
They're good.
education.
I saw JoJo.
In fact,
I saw
we've raised
JoJo.
more
He
than
was in town this
$7.5
weekend,
billion
and
provided more than 2 million
and
scholarships
Robbie
and
was
grants
here, you know,
to
before he
Tennessee students.
came to Auburn.
He was here
for 8 years, I think.
Something like that, yeah.
At
Yeah.
DMLottery.com.
Married a soccer player.
Game
Oh,
changing.
yeah. I remember meeting his wife on the bus one day.
Yeah.
Me too. Though, I can
Frank,
also
were you sore
be
this morning?
spender.
A little bit.
I'm used to it, though.
That's right. Pull that up tight to you. You talk quiet, so just so.
And with our rewards checking, you can.
Oh, get cash back for my purchases? Tap reward?
Yep. So no matter how you handle your money,
I'm
Ascend
good
Federal
now.
Credit Union has
Do
the
what?
right checking
Sam, I'm
account
good
for you.
now?
Interest earning
Yeah,
checking
you're fine.
earns 3.5%
And I can turn you up a little bit,
annual
too.
percentage yield up to $15,000. Some restrictions apply.
Not feeling well and need to see a doctor?
6 for 47 last night.
Really?
Now at
Was you?
Ascension St. Thomas.
Okay.
We're here with 24/7 ER care.
That one for 23 at the end was a biggie.
Oh, yeah.
Broken
Oh,
bones,
yeah.
sprains, allergies, sore
Needed
throats, and more. Visit ascension.org/St. Thomas Care to get the right care at the right place at the right time. Serving Middle Tennessee State University, Murfreesboro, and surrounding
We'll go about
communities.
8-10 minutes, something like that.
Okay.
So
All right.
here we go.
5, 4, 3, 2, right.
Welcome back into the Boulevard tonight, and Derek Mason live as we come to you from our favorite sports bar. We're here a little bit different on Sunday night due to Labor Day weekend. We'll get back at it on Monday night next week prior to the Conference USA opener when Western Kentucky rolls in here. But got a couple special guests tonight, played a big part in last night's victory. One guy who is new to the ball club this year, that's Omari Kelly, junior out of Trussville, Alabama, transfer from Auburn. Please welcome number 1, Omari Kelly. Glad to have you, O.
Good to be here. Thank you for having me.
And Frank the Tank, where's number 3? Got the game winner, the walk-off last night from Escambia High School in Pensacola, Florida. I'm just saying that maybe the other great running back out of Escambia is now he's maybe the second best running back to come out. I'm going to say Emmett Smith's number 2. You're number 1 now.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Will that go with you?
Yes, sir. I appreciate that.
Talk a little bit about coming up from Escambia and knowing that Emmett Smith had played at your high school. Was there a lot of pressure at being a running back in there? Because that's a really great high school league you all played in down there.
No, sir, it wasn't no pressure. It was just more like I knew I wanted to be like him or better than him, so I was aiming for his goals. So I wanted to be his goals in high school. Like, that's all I wanted to do, him and Trent.
Yeah, how many, what was your total career yardage and touchdowns in high school?
My senior year, I had 2,043 rushing yards.
Okay, I think everybody would be okay if you did that your senior year here at Middle. That'd be good.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You
That's a
good with
goal.
that? So now, Omari grew up not all that far from you, just down in L.A., down in Lower Alabama, in Trussville, and that is also a great area for high school football. Who were some of the teams that you all played in high school when you were at Trussville?
Thompson, Hoover, Spain Park, schools like that. It was always a great competition anytime we played.
Yeah. Now your career took you to Auburn first.
Yes, sir.
And now you've been here. When the coaching staff came in here at Middle, and you came on a visit, and you met guys like Frank, you met guys like Nick Vattiato and some of the others. What was it about this place for you, because you're a guy that was in the portal, that said, that's where I want to go?
It was mainly just hearing Coach Mason's message and what he felt like he had planned for the season and for the team that I felt like was the best option for me to come here.
I got you. Now, Frank, you've been here for a long time. You chose to stay here. You and Nick, I think, and and I talked to Bodie about this, Coach Reeder, and that's he thinks is one of the real gifts that he and the offensive staff had given is veteran guys like you and Nick Vattiato are here for their first year as a new staff. And do you take on? Are you happy to take on some of that leadership role?
Yes, sir. I feel like it's my duty to, because I done been here the longest, so I gotta, set the pathway for the younger guys who's coming.
Yep. Now you're in a very talented running back room.
Very.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about the guys who are in that running back room with you, and what do you see as the old man out there? What are their strengths? When I'm talking about JaKale and Terry Wilkins and Flip.
JaKale, I'll start with JaKale. JaKale he got great vision and great feet. Flip has power, vision, speed, and feet.
Yep.
Terry has a little bit of both.
And he's low to the ground too.
And he's got
And they can't find him sometimes.
Yes, sir.
And do you feel like I know every player wants to get all the touches they can get, but last night all 4 running backs played. All 4 running backs were productive. Do you feel like we're at our best offensively when all 4 of you are out there, can play and make an impact?
Yes, sir, because we all stay fresh. And if we got fresh legs, then we can take it to the crib at any time of the game.
And sometimes it's really important to take it to the crib right at the end of the game when you need it, and that's what you did last night. I think I can't remember if I asked you this after the game last night or not, but when the call came in on that, what ended up being your touchdown play, I'll be honest, I was a little surprised when the clock was where it was. I knew we had a timeout left if we needed it, but to be honest, I was a little surprised that we had a running play right there. Were you?
Not really, because we had already crossed the 50. We had 2 timeouts in about 24 seconds. So to me, when I looked up there, I felt like we had a lot of time. And Nick was confident, so that gave me confidence. So we just
Piece it up the middle, diving for the end zone.
Speaking of
Touchdown,
big plays in
middle.
that drive, this guy makes the catch on a 4th down play, a 23-yard catch that set us up for the game winner. And yes, that deserves a round of applause. And your 6th catch of the night was your biggest one. And talk about how Nick was on that drive. Knowing freshman out there, there's 1 minute on the clock. You got to come 75 yards, whatever it is. And he is a leader. That he had control of that huddle.
Sends a man across the middle. It's Omari Kelly. He's picking up the first down and getting it for the touchdown. And a big play from Omari Kelly. And that one kept.
You're right. Number 1 in your program endorsement. MTSU coming up big. Stop it. Go give you
Yeah, we talked about Frank and how talented the running back room is. I mean, they got to have some footballs to get some more footballs to go around to all you guys. I mean, Miles Butler, who caught a touchdown last night, Javonte Sherman, Gamarion Carter, who caught a lot of balls. Kellen Stewart was in on a ton of plays last night. Cameron Lacey, Hayes Sutton, all listed on the depth chart, not to mention Holden Willis and Slade Alexander and all those guys in the tight end room. There's a lot of weapons on this offense, and right now it seems like you're just kind of scratching the surface.
Yeah.
How big is it to continue to develop, starting with today, tomorrow, and Tuesday's practice, getting ready to go to Ole Miss?
I think it's very important to actually not switch up, the preparation that we've done, because just because it's a bigger game doesn't mean we have to turn up the intensity or anything like that. I feel like we have to maintain the same way we've been practicing and same intensity we've had, but just make sure we're a lot more detailed in everything we're doing.
Talk about last night and what were you guys doing during the 2.5-hour rain delay? And, you've got to bring yourself down because you've been out there warming up for 45 minutes or so, and then you got to get yourself back right. And obviously you did something right, because we come out and boom, 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 first 3 possessions, we scored touchdowns.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about how y'all do that and who took the lead on that.
It was really kind of easy. Everybody was just kind of like doing their own thing in terms of like figuring out how to bring themselves back down. And I feel like when the coaches told us it was time to go, everybody just perked up and it was time. Everybody was ready.
Yeah, and you know it was really fun to watch in particular, and you guys had gotten a good taste of what the old rivalry with Tennessee Tech was like, and coaches talked about it, giving them credit for how hard they played last night, and well deserved. They did that. What was the atmosphere like when you all got off the bus over in Walnut Grove, came through on Raider Walk, and onto the stadium? Frank, talk a little bit about that, and because you've been here a while, you've seen it.
It was a little different. We did things a little different this time. We seen a lot more people out there. It was a great feeling. They was loud and yelling, so I appreciate the fans for coming out and doing that.
How important is that for you guys to, when you walk through there, to have the energy and the emotion? You know, I hear people say, well, you know, it really gets us going. And does it indeed get you going?
Yes, for sure.
Yeah,
The fans feed us energy.
Yeah, and you know, and the timing of the weather was about as unfortunate as it could be last night. But the folks who hung around and went in Murphy Center, you know, stayed there because they've been waiting a long time to see this. They still made for a great atmosphere last night, didn't you think?
Oh yeah, I think so.
Okay, what do we got to do? We know Ole Miss is really good. They're very talented. They put up a lot of points yesterday. We're going to have to put up points as well this weekend. And this is one of those where, yeah, it's a big name team. They're good. It's not a conference game, but you still want to go down there and put on a good show. What does this team need to do in practice to be ready to go and perform at your very best this weekend? I'll start with you.
I just feel like we just have to be very detailed in everything we do, and we have to go into it knowing that it's going to be a dogfight, and we have to start it off, throw the first point.
All right, Frank, what do you think?
We just need to focus on the small details, not let the game distract us too much. You know, just go out there and play ball.
And when you go into an atmosphere that's like what you're going to see at Ole Miss, as a visitor, does that pump you up too?
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, it doesn't intimidate. I mean, but you got to keep your cool and go after it. So everybody's going to be excited for you on Saturday, and then after that, 2 big games at home against Western Kentucky and Duke, and we certainly want to make the best of all that. Guys, congratulations! You're 1-0. You're undefeated this year, and let's keep it going. Appreciate you all coming out tonight.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, Amari Kelly and Frank Peasant joining us tonight here at Derek Mason Live at the Boulevard. We're going to take a timeout. Head coach comes back with your questions after this. As you listen from Van Wagner, this is the Blue Raider Network.
How do you create a tradition of leadership? You power it with impressive towing and hauling, sharpen it with smart features like a mobile generator, and dominate the game 47 years straight. That's Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks, a legacy of excellence, only at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Available features. See owner's manual for important operating instructions based on 1977 to 2023 total sales.
Roscoe Brown is proud to be a longtime supporter of MTSU Athletics and your locally owned HVAC and plumbing company for over 80 years. Roscoe Brown has been the trusted name for heating, cooling, and plumbing for Middle Tennessee homeowners and businesses. Call 888-MY-ROSCOE to schedule your HVAC or plumbing service today. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Roscoe Brown. People you know, a name you trust. Go Blue Raiders.
Roscoe Brown.
RoscoeBrown.com.
Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance takes great pride in supporting and treating Middle Tennessee State University athletes, providing expert treatment of injuries to bones, joints, or muscles. TOA's team of orthopedic specialists can get you back in the game. Same-day appointments and walk-ins are welcome. Injured? Visit one of our many ortho urgent cares, or to make an appointment, call 1-855-NEED-TOA or visit www.toa.com. TOA, the official team doctor for Blue Raider Athletics.
The MTSU Alumni Association is proud of its more than 130,000 living alumni who are leading, teaching, entertaining, researching, flying, farming, nursing, and more worldwide. Every Blue Raider accomplishment adds value to your degree. Are you connected to the MTSU National Alumni Association? Visit mtalumni.com to share what you're doing. Update your information and see how you can be involved and informed. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
When the arena lights dim for a concert, or when the crowd becomes one at a big game, you can almost feel like you're the biggest fan. But who's your biggest fan? It's the person that will get you home safe after a night of drinking. It's the person who looks out for your life. So make sure you leave the stadium with someone's soul. This could be a designated driver, or someone who offers to give you a ride share. Because in Tennessee, fans don't let fans drive drunk. Brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, a division of the Tennessee Department of Safety and Homeland Security.
Plan ahead and plan for success. Put Lead Company on your team for all your facility and home maintenance needs. They are proud to be an official partner of the MTSU Blue Raiders and have serviced homes and businesses for 80 years. For the very best heating, air conditioning, plumbing, and electrical services, call Lead Company at 615-867-1000. Visit them at leadcompany.com or call 615-867-1000.
Welcome back into the Boulevard tonight as Derek Mason Live rolls on. Time for the lightning round with the head coach and your questions from the audience tonight. One question coming in, Coach, how do you prep the team for the atmosphere they're going to face this weekend?
Well, I've been to Ole Miss a fair amount in my career, and anytime you get down there, it's the biggest cocktail party in college football is a different place, right?
They say.
Yeah, man. The atmosphere is going to be crazy. I think the biggest thing for us, we play that team's fight song in practice, like almost nonstop, so they can get used to the noise. They can get used to the distraction, because it will be a distraction if you let it. So I think the idea of just trying to get these guys familiar with who this team is, what it represents, and not making it bigger than what it is, right? Because Ole Miss is a good football team. Everybody knows that. But there's going to be some opportunities, and we need to be opportunistic and know and understand that anytime you get into an hostile environment, you just have to play your game. You can't worry about, everything that you see, because the game's going to be played in between the white lines.
Absolutely. Any of the injuries from last night concerning you?
You know what? Injuries are the toughest part of the game, but we talk about next man up mentality. You have to have a next man up mentality with players in your program. I've talked about it since we went to camp. Everybody is valued and valuable, and what we have to do is just make sure that if somebody has to step into that role, what can they do? Let's do what they can do so that it doesn't become a detriment. It becomes a piece of the puzzle that we can fix and adjust.
Yep. Speaking of fixing and adjusting,
right.
Tennessee Tech had a little over about 300 yards passing.
Right.
They have a lot of Ole Miss is going to throw it a lot. They passed for 500 yards. Do you feel good about your defense going in and a plan that you have against them?
You know what? Every week you have to go back to the drawing board and figure out exactly who you're playing. How do you slow it down, right? And I don't think one game plan works from 1 week to the next, because the people that you have to stop and the teams, the offenses that you have to defend look different. So for us, we're going to have a different game plan. We need to tackle better. We got to get off the field on third down. We got to convert on third down. That's going to be big going to Ole Miss.
Somebody asked about at the line of scrimmage, does Nick have a solid play call, or does he have flexibility to make the call? And I'll add a little bit to that. How did the coach-to-player communication go last night?
The coach-to-player communication was good. I don't think we had any glitches. I think, for the most part, it makes it easier for the quarterback himself to hear the play, get the play, and be able to verbalize exactly what he needs to verbalize to the offensive front or the offensive line.
All right. We need to take our last break.
Yeah, let's do
Final
it.
comments from Coach Mason coming up in 2 minutes right
Let's
here
go.
on the Blue Raider Network from Van Wagner.
How do you create a tradition of leadership? You power it with impressive towing and hauling, sharpen it with smart features like a mobile generator, and dominate the game 47 years straight. That's Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks, a legacy of excellence, only at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Available features. See owner's manual for important operating instructions, based on 1977 to 2023 total sales.
Roscoe Brown is proud to be a longtime supporter of MTSU Athletics and your locally owned HVAC and plumbing company for over 80 years. Roscoe Brown has been the trusted name for heating, cooling, and plumbing for Middle Tennessee homeowners and businesses. Call 888-MY-ROSCOE to schedule your HVAC or plumbing service today. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Roscoe Brown. People you know, a name you trust. Go Blue Raiders.
Roscoe Brown.
RoscoeBrown.com.
Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance takes great pride in supporting and treating Middle Tennessee State University athletes, providing expert treatment of injuries to bones, joints,
Okay, Brandon,
muscles,
we'll be listening for you to start the close at 58:45, okay?
Walk-ins are welcome. Injured? Visit one of our urgent cares, or to make an appointment, call 1-855-NEW-TOA or visit www.toa.com. TOA, the official team doctor for Blue Raider Athletics.
The MTSU Alumni Association is proud of its more than 130,000 living alumni who are leading, teaching,
Nice crowd,
entertaining,
first 2 weeks.
researching, flying, farming, nursing, and more worldwide. Every Blue Raider accomplishment
well,
adds value to your degree.
it's your
Are you
last Sunday
connected
without
to the
NFL
MTSU
football.
National Alumni Association? Visit mtalumni.com to share what you're doing. Update your information and see how you can be involved and informed. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Alabama State, there's another game tonight. There's somebody big tonight. Yeah.
3, 2, 1, route.
Welcome back to our final segment with Coach Mason. And as you get ready, Coach, there's an old phrase that say teams make the most improvement from week 1 to week 2. Where do you want to see the most improvement on your ball club this week? And I'm sure it's across the board in some degree.
It's just all fundamentals. Fundamentals of tackling, fundamentals of blocking, fundamentals of us being able to play physical on special teams. I thought, I saw some cowboying out there a little bit, or guys sort of doing things that aren't necessarily what we teach. And so this is a great week to really work on those fundamentals. I thought it started today on a Sunday. We got out there and probably went through 10 minutes of special teams and then 15 minutes of corrections. And a lot of it just had to do with eyes, hands, and feet. People don't realize football is a game of eyes, hands, and feet, okay? Where do you put your eyes? What do you do with your hands? And your feet constantly have to be succinct with your movement. So eyes, control feet, hopefully help with your ability to move a guy off the spot with your hands. And so it was that type of day. So fundamentally, we got to be good.
Need a good week of practice because Coach Kiffin does have a very good team.
Well, Coach Kiffin's going to try to run anywhere from 85 to 95 plays. And so his team's going to be well coached. They like to run the football. It's going to be an explosive game.
It is.
Yeah.
All right, time for us to get out of here. Again, we'll be back with you a week from Monday.
Right.
Blue Raiders head to Hotty Toddy Land. We'll be in the Grove. We'll be at Vaught Hemingway Stadium. 3:15 kickoff. We'll begin our coverage at 1:45 on the Blue Raider Network. 2 words left to say tonight, Coach.
Let's go Blue.
Go Blue. There you go. All right. Thank you all for being here tonight. Thanks to our producer back in the studio, Brandon Aldridge. We'll talk to you on Saturday from Oxford.
Derek Mason Live. Tonight's show will present